And we are back again with another live stream. I'm sorry if it is noisy because there is some construction work that is going on around my place, but let's see what is the news for the day. Alright, I usually do these things very early in the morning, but today I did not have time because I had some other things to do. I had to record a video about vocabulary. नरेंद्र मोदी, पूज्य बापू ने मानवता की रक्षा के लिए हमेशा अहिंसा पर बल दिया। इसमें वह शक्ति है जो बिना हथियार के दुनिया को बदल सकती है। This is completely false, I would say. Forgive me if you find my opinions and my thoughts to be very radical, but I do not agree or subscribe to this idea of using non-violence as a tool to run a nation state. Okay, violence must be exercised, although very cautiously and carefully by the state, but that should not be your run-to policy for everything. You cannot hide behind the garb of non-violence to justify your cowardice. That is essentially what I'm saying. Okay, and I think a lot of people might also find it very difficult to comprehend that I absolutely have no qualms about saying that Mohandas Gandhi was a politician. He was no freedom fighter. He was no, I would say, a great person or the father of the nation as he is propagated to be. For me, he was just a shrewd politician. Although he was very good at it, that's a separate discussion. But here I think the Prime Minister, he has laid emphasis on Gandhi. And there's a reason why a lot of political parties in our country as well, they allude or pander to the Gandhian thoughts because that elicits votes. A lot of people in our country are still living as if it is 1947. Okay. The reason why the thoughts and the Gandhian thoughts find currency among people is that, like I said, people are still living in that mentality that we are in 47, where the principles of non-violence and being nonchalant about what the other side is doing, what the other side is preparing for, will result in peaceful coexistence. But you couldn't be more far from reality if you believe in those thoughts. We just need to understand the politics of contemporary Bharat, and you will know. I really want to see where has he quoted this from. I want the exact scripture or the Upanishads. Ahimsa param satyam yato dharma pratvat. Okay. If it is written in any of the Upanishads, any of the Dharma Shastras or any of the Vedas, then I'm willing to concede that yes, this indeed is the path of Dharma, that is non-violence, Ahimsa. Because this is like the highest office of the government. He is tweeting this, or he is posting this. उनकी पुण्य तिथि पर मेरा शत शत नमन. Okay, fine. Okay, like I said, he was a politician, and let's leave it at that. President of EU Ursula von der Leyen, post signing the FTA in her speech, quoted, "Mathematicians helped shape Europe in a few thousands of years." Why she said so? Most of them say we invented zero. That's where the buck stops. I've been saying this on my YouTube channel since I don't know since when, but I don't find a lot of traction on social media because I don't bash my own civilization. I don't speak ill of temples and my cultural traditions, and hence that's a separate discussion altogether. If you are new on social media and if you want views, you speak bad about Bharat and her civilization, and suddenly you'll start getting views, you'll start getting likes. But that is not something that I'm willing to do. That is something that I'm okay with. Here there is a representation from the European Commission, representative of the head president of EU. Okay, she is saying that it was indeed the mathematicians and astronomers from our country that shaped their worldview in the past centuries. In fact, there is a video of John Lennox. Okay, John Lennox, he is debating Christopher Hitchens. Christopher Hitchens is this was highly promoted atheist that eventually settled down in the USA. And he is the one who is extremely loved amongst these atheist circles, these all people who somehow think that them being rational is being different from being religious, so on and so forth. That's a separate discussion altogether. But in that debate between John Lennox and Christopher Hitchens, John Lennox explicitly states that the scientists such as James Maxwell, Isaac Newton, and all those other scientists that we day in and day out find their names in our science textbooks, they themselves were explicit Christians. They had credited Jesus for their inventions. They found science as a manner of worshipping Jesus himself or the God himself. Okay, in that speech, Lennox mentions how the line "Let there be light and there was light" was used by early physicists to carry on their research into light and all those other things. But when in our country, if you say that science is a Christian phenomenon, people ridicule you. So this tells you a lot about the mental colonization. People don't want to come out of it. That is what I have realized. Yeah. There is another page on X, I think, Vedic Wisdom. He has been very vocal about it. I think he is doing some fantastic work. This is the exact thing what I said. Ahimsa of Gandhi was opposite of what the word actually means. Ahimsa does not mean non-violent. Only the violent acts motivated by anger, greed or delusion come under Himsa. Killing terrorists is the greatest Ahimsa. This shloka from Mahabharata is about vegetarianism. Like I said, it's misconstrued. Can any woman take your place in your party? Jamaat-e-Islami, Amar of Bangladesh. No, Allah has made us different. There's no point in debating it. Okay? It's like crazy. Because they clearly don't care about the facts. We don't control ourselves around children. Your men too can't. Only difference is we show it and your men keep it in their hearts. Idiots. Colonel Purohit endured 9 years in prison, facing brutal torture, beaten black and blue, assaulted, abused in sensitive areas, stretched and suspended in agony. Similar was the case with Sadhvi Pragya. Both carry permanent scars, physical and psychological, yet neither cried victim. Okay, let me just break it out for you. If you are supporting somebody who is talking about secession, if that person is talking about treason and you found nothing wrong with it, then you are equally responsible. Okay, there has to be a clear line that needs to be drawn. There are things that you cannot talk about. You cannot talk about seeding out or taking away the chicken's neck, that is the sensitive area that connects the northeast with the mainland Bharat. You cannot talk about blocking that road and at the end of the day claim to be just exercising your freedom of expression. That is where the line needs to be drawn. And if you, as a contemporary national of Bharat, if you find nothing wrong with what Sirjil Imam said, then you are equally guilty. Okay, that is where you must draw the line. That is where things start getting tricky. That is what separates a patriot from a non-patriot. Yeah, forgive me, near my house there is a road and you'll see a lot of vehicles. My mouse is tricky. Yep. Girl was molested. These peacefuls, The use of the word peaceful is obviously sarcastic. I mean, they aren't really peaceful. And this is something that is wonderful to see. These people from New Zealand, the Maori tribal performers. I think Bharat needs to stand up for all the polytheistic faiths that are surviving in other parts of the world. Not all of them were inherently strong enough to survive this onslaught of monotheism, that is Christianity and Islam. A lot of cultures have been wiped out. But whatever cultures that are surviving, whatever polytheist cultures that are surviving, I think Bharat needs to step up and protect all of them, because that is how we preserve for the future generations. Because the way things are going right now institutionally, in every given way, even the governmental institutions, private institutions, everywhere you see that there will be a monotheistic bias. So the way things are going right now, in the coming 100 200 years, it will be difficult to find a polytheist. So having said that, there are a lot of indigenous cultures that are surviving across the world, and Bharat, being inherently polytheistic, must take a step forward or step towards them in preserving them. And if not preserving, at the very least, what we can do is recognize them and bring them to the mainstream, give them some audience, so people realize. All right. Just shut down JNU, man. It's a yeah. Crazy, man. Influencer Khabilem signs $975 million deal, authorizes use of his personal brand face, blah blah blah, enabling creation of an AI powered digital twin. Okay, he was the one who got famous during the COVID time, I think. यह जो अजीत भारती नाम का चिरकुट आदमी है, यह रोहित वेमुला केस को चूरन की तरह कह रहा है. There was actually a time when Tata Group did not think of names like Riva. The Scroll recently published a diss on Guru Shishya Parampara saying traditional system does not allow asking questions and curbs critical thinking. That is absolutely bullshit. You have zero understanding. This man has obviously proved it over and what is he? Just another day in the UK. Girl 12 raped in park after being pursued by asylum seekers. An Afghan national abducted a 12-year-old girl from street before repeatedly raping her and taking photographs of the attack. Just another day in the UK. You see, people, the liberals, where are you guys? You please look at this, what is happening in UK, Europe and all the European countries, and then come and preach to us. Okay, I think this is the tipping point that Bharat must consider. Okay, settling the problem of Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan once and for all. That is what is the need of the hour. That is what is the need of the century. And if we do that, that sends a message across Europe that this is how you handle the problem of illegal migration. Okay. Signed into law a comprehensive reform after she said she'll see the phone call this down, lifting restriction nation's commercial airspace. We are never going to know what happened in Venezuela, but I think, yeah. Surya Kumar Yadav, make way, please, don't disturb Cheetah, as half the exteriors Bumrah, Ishan and team arrived at Thiruvananthapuram Airport. Surya's special bond. Try to read a lot of books, ingest as much information as you can, and develop a good general knowledge. That's good advice. Cornell University, men get it. Dinner parties are far better than binge drinking at bars with music, blah blah blah. Arnav has been on fire since last 2 months and it's heartening to see. Yeah. Small video for those who want to start practicing yoga. Kriya Yoga is for beginners and it's the starting point. I think yes. We need more content creators like him because, like I said, when you start creating content about Bharat and her civilization, I don't know your reach. It does not go beyond a point. Because as much as I don't want to admit it, but these social media platforms they have an inherent left bias. Okay, you'll only find traction on social media if you do certain things that are well established since the beginning of the internet era. There are only some things that you're supposed to do, then there are only some things that you are not supposed to do. Okay, that is why you see these actors and actresses, they stick to a certain script. Don't these people know what is going on in Pakistan and Bangladesh? They deep down inside they know, but still they will put up stories about Gaza and Palestine. Why? They must get paid. They have linked their livelihood to it. So yeah, because it is now the movement needs to come from the people. It is going to come up in the upcoming years. Maybe not in my lifetime, maybe after my lifetime, we don't know. But yes, you will see a large scale en masse wholesale boycott of such people. YouTube eventually will have to change its stance about not giving traction to such content creators who put out their Vedic information about us being Aryans or the descendants of the Aryans. And when you talk about these things, your videos or your content does not get reach right now. But eventually I think YouTube will have to come to terms, not just YouTube, all the other social platforms as well. Because people are slowly becoming conscious about what type of content they should like or what type of content they should interact with. Tell me the history behind this coin. Left and Marxist students at JNU burn effigy of Brahmanism and allegedly raised slogan like Brahman Murdabad, Manuwad Lagega, Jalega. Rohit के हथियारों को एक धक्का और दो during protest at Sabarmati Dhaba, demanding Rohit Act and UGC equity rules implementation. Like I said, man, JNU is a joke. There's nothing more I want to add to it. JNU is a joke. Your post is full of stupidity and ignorance. Shikha is a symbol of knowledge. Shikha on the head is not only for Brahmins. Keep your head to yourself. That's true. There are a lot of things, even the Janev, it's usually attributed to the Brahmanas. But even if you ask somebody who has taken Janev through that elaborate process, just before the officiating priest who gives you a Janev, you're supposed to select one thing. That is, there will be a book, there will be a small talwar or a sword sort of a thing. Third, there will be money. Okay, now you are supposed to choose either out of these three. Now, what does this signify? That I don't know if the fourth Varna, that is the Shudras, participated in the Janev ceremony or not, or were they allowed to take Janev or not. But when I myself, when I was small, I had this ceremony, elaborate ceremony rather, for taking up that sacred thread. And before taking up that sacred thread, they give you an option. Which one would you choose? The book, that is for knowledge. The sword, that is for protection or weapon. The third is money, that is for earth. So that should tell you that the Janev taking practice was not simply just limited to the Brahmins. Draupadi Murmu arrives at Vijay Chowk to attend the beating retreat. Okay. Lack of self-awareness. We need such tourists in Uttarakhand to respect our culture, land, and not that Dehati Bevadas. True. Every day, Brahmins are mocked with casteist slurs, but history holds scars far deeper than insults. Hot take: 9 to 5 with high salaries better than owning your own business. Now, this definitely is a hot take, but I would say that the problem with doing a job is you don't have, or don't, let me just frame it in a proper way. So, if you have a job, okay, let's say you are in your 20s, late 20s, that is 25 plus, and you have a job, how long do you think would you want to do a job? Do you want to do that job for the rest of your life? Or let's say you want to stay in the system for 10 years and then get out and have a steady source of income, passive income, whatever, XYZ. Okay, the second option is what majority of the people will choose. If you are doing a job, you don't want to do it for the rest of your life. I mean, there are some people, I've seen people working in an organization for 25, 30 years. So if you're given those years to an organization, I mean, that's good. Okay, and now increasingly with the Gen Z and all those people, you'll see a lot of freelance workers, gig workers, so on and so forth. So yes, definitely 9 to 5 with a high salary is better, but over a period of time you will get used to it, you will get bored out of it, and then because when you do your job, okay, I'll talk about myself. When I am doing my job, I usually am thinking about things that I want to do. Things I want to travel, I want to talk to people, I want to be outside, trying new things, making content, gaming, streaming, so on and so forth. So you suppress all those desires. But for how long can you do that? You eventually will want that release. Okay. So yes, 9 to 5, having a job for 10 years, maybe stretching to 15 based on your economic or financial conditions, but the end goal of doing a job should be to get out of a job, not having to do it for the rest of your life. At least 10 years of your life you must spend on doing what you want to do. You did not get time when you were young to travel this holy homeland of Bharat. Then get out at 40, get out at 45, and visit all the temples there are, visit all the hill stations there are, visit all the Shakti Peeths there are, climb all the mountains with temples on top of it. This is the ultimate dream, I think. So yes, having a 9 to 5 is good, but not for the rest of your life. Alright guys, I think that's it. That's it for the stream, Samachar ki charcha. I'll keep on doing this, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching.